Today we are talking to Perry Chaturvedi of Intelegencia. They are located in India, the US and the Philippines, and they have 2 outsourcing sites here in the Philippines covering about 300 to 400 seats. Let's see what he has to say.
So I started Intelegencia in 2009. So my name is Perry Chaturvedi. I grew up in the US. I was a teenager, I was 17 when I got shipped off by my parents to the US for my education. So I did my bachelor's in the US, did my master's in finance, and then worked for a number of companies. I worked at Accenture, I worked at Convergys, I worked at Amdocs. So my experience ranges from consulting, well, actually began with technology, then it started with strategy consulting and management consulting and so on. Then in 2009, I decided to start Intelegencia in Atlanta. I had no idea what's going to happen, no idea it's going to take off, but I had some good friends who gave breaks along the way, and by the time we were a year old, we were growing. We needed new facilities to move and all that. So Intelegencia is basically a technology services company focusing on supporting. We have a number of customers now ranging from Fortune 1000 to startups to mid-sized corporations that use us for either ongoing support and maintenance work to application development to QA stuff to infrastructure. We're doing a lot of work in cloud now. So basically Azures of the world and Amazons of the world use us for cloud, not just managing their servers, but more hardcore elasticity sort of work, right? We do that. We also have a group that does data analytics, which essentially means that it starts with managing your data, then it goes to reporting, then it goes to more higher end things like predictive analytics. So that's what Intelegencia does and did up until 2018. And then we needed to find more avenues to grow, both organically and inorganically. Inorganically, the best way to do is through acquisitions. Because my background is in consulting and call center, I decided to look at call center as an opportunity to sort of to augment our current business and to grow that way. So we started looking at the Philippines, and we actually found a couple of companies last year that we took over and we acquired here. So as a result, we now have 2 sites in Manila. We have an office in the US, we have an office in Dublin. We have 2 offices in India, Delhi and Bangalore. Team size is now, combining both the business units, team size is about 550 employees across all these regions combined, and hoping to grow this year by 20-30%. Having been doing this for almost 9-10 years now, so by the way, we celebrate our 10th year in March this year, so looking forward to that. To answer your question, I think for SMEs or looking for outsourcing, I would make sure that there's a very clear-cut idea on what they want to achieve, right? If it's a pure cost saving, that might work to an extent, but it has to be a combination of cost saving plus repetition on quality, right? So people can go to Upwork and get resources at half the price that we offer. But what they soon realize is that these are mom and pop shops, or even one person who's doing it as a freelancer. So what you don't get is repeatable quality. What you don't get is a team that is scalable. What you don't get is accountability in the work that needs to get done. So all these things are important when you consider outsourcing. That, hey, is my objective just cost? Or is my objective to actually scale my operations to the level that we have here? And if that is the objective, how do we achieve it? Do we do it through onesies and twosies? Or do we look for a partner that is a right-sized partner for us, who can invest with us, who will grow with us, and then who will also ensure that our quality of work, our support, our teams are all in place to get things done. To me, that's important. So that's my advice to them, is to make sure that they understand the objective of what they want to get done before they just look at cost as the only factor. So what we do is that we take that into account. And we tell our customers that, you know what, it is better to learn to walk first than to run. So what that means is that there has to be almost a co-invested relationship to begin with. So for someone who's never done it before, they'll have a lot of questions on the culture, on as simple things as time zones, English language. One of the first questions I'll ask you is, do your people speak good English? Those are some basic things. So making sure you educate them initially on some of the concerns they have, on hey, let's talk about what concerns you may have, and we'll talk from our experience as far as we have onboarded people who have never done this before. And one more thing we tend to do also is that it's important to invest in a relationship that makes sense. For example, a company really wants to grow, but they don't know how to grow. They've never done it before. So what we typically would do is, hey, you know what? Let's do a proof of concept. Is it for 2 weeks, for a month? If it's one resource or two resource, at the end of the day, $3,000-4,000 is not a big deal in the bigger scheme of things, right? So if you want to spend, really, if I were to spend $3,000-4,000 in helping a potential customer and really kind of get comfortable with it, with the commitment that if this goes well, they will sign up for a longer term relationship, we would do that. So that's one thing I would do, is to really explore with a partner to make sure that they are actually willing to invest, they're willing to invest with you and how it should evolve, rather than saying, hey, let's get the SOW done, this is our price, we want the payments done prepaid. That's not the right approach in my opinion. Given that we do technology outsourcing and then we do BPO outsourcing, in both places there are lower hanging fruits. For example, I start with technology, right? Technology there's two aspects to technology. One is actual development, which is hardcore coding. The other is QA, quality assurance of software engineering, which is a lot more easier rather, which means that these guys don't have to code. They need to understand the business logic, what the product needs to do, write test cases, and then QA the test cases. That's a much lower hanging fruit. You're not transferring your code, you're not looking at code quality, all that good stuff. It's harder. On BPO side, similarly, same thing. There are a bunch of processes, right? You can start with as complex as voice. To me, voice is complex because there's lots of things in voice that are involved, versus things like, email support. Easy thing. I get 10,000, we have a customer that sends us, we have about 5,000 emails we get in a month. Well, and they're very simple emails. Where's my order? What's my order status? I need a tracking number. That's very easy, right? You don't need a whole lot of training time. The process is not complex. So I would suggest picking processes that are simpler to digest. And then once you prove those processes to be successful, then you work your way up to more complex processes. So there are two, as you say, there are two types. One is a turnkey project, which essentially means that as a customer, let's say you are a customer, and you say, hey, I want to develop an iPhone app that measures temperature of this room, right? You say that I have the scope written down, I know exactly what I want, I know exactly what needs to go in, but you just define it in a business requirements document. You give that over to us and say, okay, here's the business requirements. I want you to go and estimate this work for us. Give me a fixed bid, and then based on that, give me a pricing. And then if the pricing is working in our budget, we'll give you a go-ahead. And it's a fixed bid, which means that for any reason you delay it with no fault of, as a customer, let's say if I delay the project with no fault of yours as a client, then I should be asking you for additional budget. But if you change the scope, I will ask for a change request. That's the turnkey aspect of IT. On the ongoing part, it's that, hey, I've got a CRM system like Salesforce or Microsoft ERP, or I've got a billing system, or I've got these 10 different systems that I'm managing right now. I don't want to be investing in getting somebody onshore to do support and maintenance because I'm going to pay $70, $80 an hour, versus I'm giving it over to you guys. You will charge me, 1/3 of that, and it's an ongoing support and maintenance model. So which means that we are taking over the responsibility of managing the work, QA of the work, managing our resources, and everything else with a managed services model, how it goes. In my opinion, there is nothing different that I can do apart from some very soft things. Quality of work, is extremely, extremely important. So making sure there's a repeatable framework to make sure that the quality that you delivered yesterday is the same quality you deliver today. Because for a customer, he will probably remember less of what you did yesterday, but he will most likely remember what you did today or what you're doing today. So it's basically, it's the same thing as, what have you done for me lately? You know, that's a blessing and a curse of a services model. So quality work is extremely important for me. I challenge my teams across all groups that quality is extremely important. And then just making sure that your customer feels that you actually have their best interest in mind, however you do it. But having the best interest in mind, meaning that you're not going to BS about, you're going to be transparent, right? If you can't do it, you can't do it. If you goofed up, you goofed up. If you guys, did a great job, ask the client, hey, these guys did a great job. Can I take them out for lunch? Stuff like that, right? I think those are soft things that set you apart, and then continuously investing in making sure you have the right team together. Right team costs a little bit extra money, but it's worth it. So not running a shop as a sweatshop, so to speak, because you pay what you get for. You're going to get what you pay for, right? So that's important for me, is to make sure that we're continuously getting right people, continuously making sure our people are educating themselves, coaching themselves. Integrity is big, and doing the work with quality is big. I think some of the important things that we do is that face time with the customer is important, whether it's on site here, bringing them to Manila, or meeting them in the US is important. That's part one. And if they come to your site, I think they get a lot of confidence. How your place is set up, how your processes are set up. You're not just BSing to sell more work. So if you say that you got 200 employees, when they come and see your place, you should have 200 employees, right? If you say that your process for quality and training, yeah, you better show them a handbook that has quality and training. So it's basically more tangible things that they can touch and feel, whether it's you being in person, whether they're being here to see your work, how it's being done. Those are some of the things that I would do that make sure that to build confidence, you're going to have to invest together in making sure this is going to work for both parties. As a company, we began with a very, very small subset. I had a friend actually who also left the same company that I was part of. So he came and said, hey, Perry, I need to develop a product for this education space. That was very small little beginning of our company. Fast forwarding it 9 years later, we have clients in telecommunications, cable and wireless, globally, tier 1, tier 2. Clients like AT&T and Verizon's, and now some of these clients are not directly ours. We have a very large customer who's also a strategic partner with us out of New Jersey, Synchronous Technologies. We actually have been working with them and for them for the last 9 years, and they've been an anchor customer of ours. They've been in the space of telecom cable products, activation products, cloud products, digital experience products, that we help them either support their end customers or we implement for them and with them. That gets us to touch these tier 1 operators globally, and then we have some of our own as well. Then we have customers in healthcare in the US, in Middle East. We have customers in automotive, both remanufacturing and sellers, and e-resellers. We have customers in insurance. We have customers in education, and then we have customers in services, which is basically means consulting guys. So we basically touch a lot of verticals as far as clients are concerned. We have about 90 clients today that are spread across US, well, I would say North America, Europe, the Middle East, Asia Pacific, and of course, so when I say Asia Pacific, I mean Singapore, Australia, New Zealand. That's the spread of our clients and verticals and size. The size, as I told you earlier, the size varies. We have Fortune 1000 clients like GE company. We have publicly traded companies on NASDAQ. We have companies traded in the Middle East market. We have companies that are trading in the Australian stock exchange. So these are some of our customers. As far as our scale is concerned, on BPO space, we have Antipolo site, which currently has 200 agents plus supporting staff of 30, with a capacity of 70 to 100. And then we have this current site where we are sitting. This site, we have currently 50 agents with the capacity of about 100 to 200 additional space should we need that.